Alright, so first I'm going to start this off by saying, yes, I do have obsessive compulsive personality disorder. I also have OCD and autism, and I share my own personal experience on this app. That being said, this is just my own personal experience, observation, and metaphors. I'm so glad that this resonates. That's of course why I share. But if you suspect that you do have a personality disorder, I highly recommend doing your own research and reaching out to professionals to receive a diagnosis and of course better figure out your own self and how to move forward in a productive way. That being said, I love that my video game metaphor and analogy resonates with you, and I wanted to kind of share a couple more reasons why my experience as someone with OCPD, and often I think with some of the other things too, shifts and alters my way of perceiving reality in a way that I can only describe as being in a video game. I don't game, but my friends did growing up, and I know enough about it from pop culture to know that, you know, you have this first-person kind of sense of perspective when you're moving around in these games, and there are levels that you have to go through, each with their own challenges, characters, recurring characters, predetermined plot, etc. I know that if enough bad stuff happens, or if you mess up enough times in any level, you have to restart that or you die or lose a life. And the main analogy that comes to me, or why I perceive having OCPD to being in a video game, is all video game characters, at least in old school ones, I think, we had several bars or meters of both like your health, your strength or power, your charisma maybe, your intellect. And for me, with my sense of black and white thinking and this extreme rigidity that governs my need for control and my search for perfection, when I find someone who behaves in a way or interacts with me in a way that I do not deem as morally or ethically correct, or is doing things in the right way, or is treating me with respect, or as someone deliberately taking away my control of something. When that happens, it's like a switch is flipped, and what I call like the respect bar, the respect meter for that person, whichever one starts up here, 100%. Which is also odd, because oftentimes strangers on the street who I interact with less, sometimes it's easier for me to interact with them because I haven't seen enough of their flaws or just general human traits to lose respect. So everyone starts with this baseline that I have, and then when people cross me or do something that my brain processes is not correct, it's going to lower their respect bar. And once I lose respect for someone, in my experience, in 23 years on this planet, I'm unable to gain it back. I can put on a formal face, I can put on a cordial face, but when that bar is depleted, once it's all the way gone, it's all the way gone. And the same with it in a video game, when you lose that last life, you got to start all over again. You lost that last life. So I kind of view this kind of every challenge in my life or every interaction as a list of things to be done, a list of goals to be met, and I'm the only one that knows the way to do it. I have this innate sense of course, the correct way to do it in my brain, and rules are there to keep us safe so that we can be productive, so that we can grow, and so that we can have fun. And when those rules are not put into place or not followed, when I personally have a human failure or a moment of imperfection, or when I see someone else experience or display that in a way I deem as personally disrespectful, I blue screen, and it is total static, total shutdown, total switch is flipped and there's no going back. And so I find when I get triggered, when my OCPD is triggered, I'm not talking autistic sensory overloads, I'm not talking really bad moments of OCD, but when my sense of control around an issue, my identity, whatever, rules, is triggered. The way that I view that is, it's kind of a total downward spiral catastrophization of things, because the rules and the setup of the game of life did not work in my favor. And I have now lost control. I'm now unsafe. Or someone else in their interaction with me has made me feel like they've taken away my sense of control, and now they're a villain. Now I've gone from loving them to absolutely not hating, but being completely devoid of warmth and care and respect. And that is something that I still grapple with, I work towards, I work on it every day. But it's really hard, particularly after a meltdown, when you feel out of your body and there's this weird derealization of like, I know that what I just did in this blow up was not the correct way to do things. But I did that because the rules didn't work, and I played everything by the book like the game told me, and I was still met with a foe or adversity that leads to this blue screen in my brain that I still haven't fully grasped. So if you have OCPD, or if you have any similar personality trait, and you find this metaphor of these video game bars being depleted, or this sense of losing your life when you make enough mistakes, or needing this underlying programming and rules in order to level up, because you never want to go back and you're always looking to the next thing. If that resonates, and you feel like you are operating your own little controller in your brain as you navigate this crazy world, comment your thoughts. Again, I'm here sharing more thoughts on OCPD because I don't see a lot of people that experience it sharing what it is like. Not to make myself a victim, just to give perspective. Bye, y'all, and follow for more.